Hello and welcome to Talk to Downtown. My name is Courtney Wood. I am the Economic Development Director at the Downtown Stockton Alliance, which is the 501c6 nonprofit property-based business improvement district serving downtown Stockton. This webinar series is intended to connect our business owners, property owners, and visitors with the organizations, resources, and people who can address issues that are of top concern to them. So today I have Nicole Snyder from the City of Stockton's Economic Development Department. She's going to talk about grants and loans and other programs through the Economic Development Department. And the way this will go, it will begin with me introducing Nicole, letting her share a little bit about herself and what she does at the Economic Development Department. And then I'll go ahead and ask her some of my questions. After that, we will open it up to the viewers to type in your own questions. And with that, I would like to say thank you so much, Nicole, for joining us. And thank you, viewers, for tuning in. I hope that everyone's doing well, and let's get started. So Nicole, thanks again for joining us. Please tell us a little bit about what you do at the Economic Development Department, and overall, kind of what does the Economic Development Department do at the City of Stockton?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Courtney. Again, Nicole Snyder with the Economic Development Department here at the City of Stockton. I am the Economic Development Manager who manages and oversees the implementation of the department programs and incentives for small businesses. So we work directly with the small businesses, whether they be existing or those that are looking to either expand or come into the City of Stockton. And our department is pretty robust as far as what we do. It's not just economic development, but we do have various different divisions within our department. We have the housing department, which is, obviously busy with some of the homeless programs that you've seen probably released lately, working with existing homeowners that are low-income homeowners to help make repairs to their current buildings or become green building incentive programs, implement those practices. We also have the parking, venues, and events division, which manages the meters, city garages, and lots. And we have our real property division that also would be involved with any city property owned. So I've been here about 7 years now and working in economic development for 16 years prior to that. So I came from the county. And so familiar with economic development as a whole.
Wow, you have so much experience. That's amazing. And also, it's amazing what the Economic Development Department can do and what control it has over various aspects of city life. So, what can you say about how the business climate in Stockton and even in downtown specifically has been affected by the COVID-19 situation?
Yeah, so I think we're all kind of acclimating to the effects of COVID, and the businesses really have been hit the hardest, especially the small businesses, with the closures that we have implemented, and now in phase 3, the reopening. So I think everyone is trying to acclimate to all the changes that are happening. It's difficult for everyone, and we're aware of that here at the city. So my hope that small businesses will be able to recover from this, and the city's been working diligently on creative approaches to provide assistance as much as possible to alleviate some of those hardships caused by COVID for the businesses here in not only downtown, but the citywide businesses.
Definitely. So what are some common questions or concerns that people have been coming to your department with at this time?
Yeah. So I think, like most businesses, we've been closed to the public for a while and just recently reopened. So a lot of our inquiries have been coming via email and some voicemails, but most of them revolved around, as far as my department. Now, keep in mind, I work strictly and primarily with economic development, but as I said, our division does a multitude of things. So I can only speak for my department in economic development, and we've received a lot of calls from small businesses looking for assistance, as you could imagine. That is the hardships that they're facing with the closures not able to be open, and the expenses they have and they continue to incur. So the assistance that they could obtain, whether it be from the city or other programs, those are the calls that we've been facilitating the most.
Okay, so mostly calls for financial assistance for overhead costs and things like that, sounds like?
Correct.
Okay. And so when people come to you, what unique programs or tools does your department have that can help these businesses during the pandemic?
Yeah, so we've, you might be aware, we had a small business relief grant program that we implemented. That, in addition to our Advantage Stockton website, we have a COVID link on that website, so it's advantagestockton.com. It has a button for COVID, and within that there is a Stockton Business Guide, which is an essential services guide, and businesses can enter their information if they are open, and then any kind of hours that they are open, any resources, and that kind of helps connect the business community, or just the community in general, to the businesses that are providing services. You know, in this time, we're not sure who is open and who is providing services. Everyone is kind of acclimating the way they see fit with their business. So that is a tool that we've added to that page, and we are hoping to have it grow. So the businesses can go directly to the page. There's a button at the top that says add a business, and you can add your business information to that. And the communities can also go to the page, and if they're searching for certain services or businesses, there's a search function within that.
And what is that page called again, just so viewers can know?
Yeah, so they can go to the AdvantageStockton.com page, and within that page, the first button there on the left, when you scroll down just a tad, it'll say COVID, and then the COVID page within that, there is a link to I believe on that, it's called the Essential Services Guide.
Perfect. Thank
and
you.
that'll take you to that map. That's kind of an interactive tool.
That sounds like a good resource for both the businesses and residents. Awesome. Thank you.
Right.
Okay. So revisiting the topic you brought up about the initial grant that the city had put out in partnership with Mainstreet Launch, which was really exciting, honestly. I believe that was up to $3,000 per business. Is that correct?
Right, yeah. So we worked in collaboration actually with the mayor's office in the city. Our department entered into an agreement with Mainstreet Launch to be the third-party administrator of the program and disperse the funds. So we had opened up the program, and the day we opened it after the press release, press conference, within 24 hours of that opening, we had received over 1,000 applications. So we were forced to close the application gathering or period. We would have to close that after 24 hours since we only had funding for 167 businesses.
Wow.
So there are quite a few businesses that their applications were not reviewed. It was on a first come, first served basis. So unfortunately, we weren't able to review all the applications, as you know. I mean, with 167 that we could only approve and 1,000, you can do the math of how many people unfortunately couldn't even be reviewed based on that first come, first served date stamp.
Right. But at least that is a great opportunity for those who were able to obtain it. So that's another very interesting and cool program that you guys have put out.
Yeah, and we are retaining the information and applicant information from that gathering. And if there does become funds available in the future, we will go off of that list. So we won't have to open a new application up. So those folks that did apply and did not get funding and their applications were not reviewed, we can still go from that list if perhaps we get future funding.
That's great to know.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's like a wait list.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. So apart from COVID-19 resources, which you just shared about, what other resources can you share with us that the Economic Development Department has for downtown businesses or property owners? So some of your like grant programs and loan programs, I know you have so many. What can you share with us about those programs?
Yeah, we have quite a few programs that businesses can take advantage of. So we have the Commercial Facade Grant Improvement Program that assists property owners with enhancing the facade of their buildings, their commercial buildings. So the grants are based on the linear feet of the facade of the building. That can be applied through our office. Also, we have the Downtown Financial Incentive Program, which reduces or eliminates some of the permit fees for buildings that have been vacant 6 months or longer. We have a smaller grant, which is a beautification grant, storefront beautification, that is available to business owners and property owners to do smaller scale facade improvements, such as maybe replace some windows or some paint, or maybe replace some awnings. So that's a smaller scale, and that is also a grant. So the facade and the beautification are grants, like I said, so those are not repayable. The facade isn't a forgivable loan, but it is, in essence, a grant because it is forgiven if you maintain your building free of graffiti and blight. We also have a program that's fairly underutilized, and I like to mention it anytime I get the chance. It's an emergency grant program, and it's up to $7,500. And again, the grant program, but it's to alleviate some of the code violations that affect the health and safety of the public and or employees. So that is something that is available and, like I said, underutilized. You do have to show financial need for that. So if you don't have the means financially to replace something that perhaps is hit with a code violation, this program could apply. And there is no application fee for this, but you do have to apply, obviously, for all these programs before you, start any work or anything of that nature. It would have to be in advance. We also have the microloan program, and our microloan program has been around a while now. Last night, happy to report that the City Council approved the revisions to our guidelines.
Oh, okay.
So we have a few interesting and I think great revisions to the microloan program, and I can kind of go over those if you want me to, Courtney.
Yes,
real
please
quick.
do. Yes, share that with us. Yeah.
Okay. So the microloan currently, as it sat before, was only up to $30,000. So with the approval of the revision, we now have increased the maximum loan amount to $35,000, and we've added a few eligible expenses that they can use the loan proceeds for. Those are rent, utilities, and supplies are added to the eligible use of loan funds. We've also waived the $50 application fee, waived that through the end of the year. So the applicants will not have to pay for that application fee, which is pretty good for them.
Yes.
Good deal. And then as far as the interest rate is concerned, we have deferred interest and payments for the first 6 months of the loan.
Wow.
So this, intends to help those businesses that are struggling get on their feet. So for 6 months after a loan is approved, there is no payments. And then after that, it'll have a fixed interest rate of 2 to 4%. And that's based on credit standing. So the department would review the application and their credit, and the interest rate would be determined upon that.
Okay.
Previously, we also had tax returns required, and we're not requiring that at this point. And the pro forma we're reducing from 1 to 2 years from 3. The biggest thing and hindrance with the program was the collateral requirement. We required real property collateral on loans that were $10,000 and above, and we pushed that out to loans that are now $20,000 and above would require real property collateral.
Wow.
So those are some of the high-level points to the program that has been revised. We're in the process of preparing a press release to express all of these changes, as well as some social media blasts, e-blasts, and such, so that hopefully we can get the word out and those businesses that are in need of loans can have these funds available.
Wow, those are some awesome changes, really. And did you say the term of the loan usually? How long is the term?
That hasn't changed, so that the term of the loan is, the maximum term is 5 years.
Okay. Great. And if they're interested, if any of the businesses are interested, should they just get in contact with you?
They can actually just reach out to our department, our general line, and they can be put in touch with the person that administrates that program.
Okay. Thank you. I'm very excited, and we'll definitely be sending that press release out to our business owners and property owners as well. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, so outside of your department, or including your department, what resources do you recommend for businesses or entrepreneurs that are just starting out? So where should these people go for assistance?
So one of the things that we ask for the microloan program is a business plan. It's a good starting point, especially for startup businesses, to have a good solid business plan. And a business plan doesn't have to be 20 pages long. If you have all the pertinent information, it can be much shorter. We always have recommended the Small Business Development Center with San Joaquin Delta College as a resource. They've been around for quite some time, so they've always been that go-to resource that we've always referred clients to. There are other resources as well in town that I'm sure that folks are familiar with. We also are currently in the process of providing our annual entrepreneurship grants. So we'll be probably, at some point, when everything is finalized, releasing another press release for that information. In that information, you'll have business service providers that are receiving funds from the city to assist entrepreneurs. And those providers are folks that can assist with certain things like business plans or financial help or, just business consulting in general. So I highly recommend to be on the lookout for that information so that folks can see who those business service providers are that they can receive assistance from.
Perfect. And I think too, you have a business resource guide that's really helpful as well. I think it's through your department.
Yeah, we do. So that business resource guide was actually, when I first started here at the city, it was something I put together in partnership with the Small Business Development Center. Mm-hmm. And it has evolved, obviously, over the years and been updated. And we're actually in the process of evolving it once again. So we do have it currently as it sits in its form. It may be a little outdated. I think it's been a couple years since we've updated it, but it does have all the pertinent information. I call it like the 10-step work plan to starting a business in Stockton. So it'll have all of that pertinent information that folks need in order to start a business, and then helpful information that you might not think you need, but it might be something you want to look into as well. So, like I said, we are revamping that. I hope to have something produced by the end of the year on that.
Great. Yeah, I think that's a super helpful resource for businesses. Any entrepreneurs I encounter, I encourage them to look at that resource guide. It's got all the steps to the questions they have.
With the new version, we're going to implement more of the permitting requirements. So we're working closely with the community development department in some of the ideas they have that would be helpful tools and resources to provide to the businesses looking to open shop here in Stockton.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So next, can you tell us anything about upcoming changes in the realm of economic development that might happen this year, or new programs coming out?
Yeah, so some changes that you may or may not have heard is the city is currently working on a relocation of City Hall. So we purchased the waterfront towers downtown on Weber, and we are moving fast forward with all of the project requirements and getting that project and keeping it basically on schedule. So we're currently working with the designer and architect in doing the drawings for construction drawings to go out to bid. So that should be done by the end of the year, and we're working really hard to maintain that project schedule. So that's exciting, and that'll be a new addition where we'll have a city hall that all the city departments are located in. So that's pretty exciting for us, for sure, because we're kind of spread out with all the city departments throughout downtown.
Consolidation.
Yeah, we're consolidating, and it's a good idea. So it'll be helpful, too, for the community to go to one-stop shop and have all the departments and permitting and revenue services and everyone that they would have to see all in one place instead of going multiple different locations. So excited to see that project moving forward.
Yes.
We're also going to be, at the end of this month, releasing an RFI for some city waterfront properties. So be on the lookout towards the end of June for that RFI to be released. And then currently in the planning stages of something we're calling a virtual investor summit. So that'll most likely be towards the beginning of August, and we're inviting potential investors for virtual tours of the city of Stockton. So we're not quite sure on all of the details yet. We're still ironing some of those out, but looking forward to exciting new event, and we're all learning these virtual events at this point. So we're in the planning stages of that.
I'm very excited for that one, I've got to say. I want to bring investment here, bring it to downtown.
Exactly.
Awesome. Those are great changes. And so are there any other organizations or programs that you might recommend to small businesses seeking support either due to COVID or just in general? Any other resources for them?
Yeah, there's a few. I already mentioned the business service providers that are located throughout the city that they can contact for support in business consulting. So some of the other programs that people may not be aware of is there's a few non-traditional loan programs in the city. The county has one. The revolving loan fund is available. You guys at the DSA have the downtown program, the self program that yes. They can obtain loans from as well. So those are all non-traditional funding programs that a lot of people, I think, aren't aware of. So important to note those, as well as the county also has released, I think it was the beginning of this week, a grant program as well, similar to ours, that businesses can apply for. So I strongly suggest that if folks don't know about that program for small businesses, that they go to the San Joaquin County's website to find more information about that. As far as if businesses need any assistance, we work closely with the San Joaquin Partnership, who is a private economic development organization. And so oftentimes the larger businesses or developers or brokers reach out to the San Joaquin Partnership for further assistance or guidance on their projects, or basically relocating or expanding into Stockton. Mm-hmm. And then lastly, I'd like to mention that we have a small business monthly newsletter and also a quarterly newsletter that if you go to the advantagestockton.com website that I mentioned earlier, you can sign up for that as well.
Great. Thank you. Okay, so I just have two more questions for you before we open it up to the viewers to ask your questions. The the first one is, so is there anything else that you think people should know about the Economic Development Department? Anything at all?
I think I covered quite a bit.
Yes.
I'm not sure. We try to engage with not only the business community, but also with, developers and brokers alike. So we host things called the Economic Review Committee meetings, which bring in all of the permitting departments and talk about projects that are moving forward so that folks are knowledgeable of all the requirements that will be imposed on their projects, and those seem to be very helpful to not only business owners, but property owners, brokers that are trying to sell some properties. Those are all, if they're in the due diligence stages, oftentimes we'll have those meetings, and those seem to be very helpful to obtain a lot of information that folks need in order to make decisions moving forward. We also try to host things called broker events. Breakfast with the Brokers is something we try to host quarterly, and with COVID, those have been a little delayed, but we intend to start those back up as soon as possible. And then we do things called business walks, where we pick certain areas of the city, and we'll recruit a few volunteers and basically just go get surveys from some of the business owners within that particular area that we've chosen, and then try to gauge the business climate in that area and any assistance that they may require, of whether it be the city or any other agency that we can help provide some recommendations for. So those are the things I can think of. Just recently we had introduced a temporary outdoor dining permit. That will be facilitated through the Community Development Department here at the City of Stockton. Folks can seek a temporary permit now for outdoor dining and to use designated public space, so city-owned public property. And it's basically for the restaurants that want to extend their outdoor dining capabilities within the public space. There's no fee for this permit. It is something that, unless it has changed, I know we've been trying to work on getting an online application, but at this point, from the last I heard from community development, that it is something you have to apply in person at the permit center, and they are open. So there is things that you'll require, that you'll need to have pictures of the area, drawings, or some kind of depiction of the proposed location and layout, or a site plan with the application itself. So it is a little bit of work to plan this and the permit, but it's something that can extend businesses' dining area outward into the public space.
Yes, that's a great resource, and it's brand new. So any businesses who are restaurants who are listening may want to go ahead and take advantage of the dining permit program. It's a great opportunity to increase the capacity of your restaurant using outside public spaces. It's a really cool program.
Yeah, and it's where on our website, our City of Stockton website, our Advantage Stockton website, you can get all the details, the ordinance, the application, everything is online. And if folks have some issues, I think, Courtney, you probably have the information that they can probably reach out to you directly, or they can reach out to make sure that they get the information.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so the last question is, how can people get in contact with you if they have further questions about any of the programs that you've talked about?
So Advantage Stockton is a great tool. I know I sound like a broken record, but AdvantageStockton.com, there's a little button at the top that says contact us, and our phone number and email will pop up, and you can reach us. That's our general line. It should be someone answering the phone all the time. It's our general email that is checked daily. So definitely can reach out in that fashion, and we'll be able to answer any kind of questions or concerns you have.
Perfect. Thank you, Nicole, for answering all of my questions, and thank you so much for the information that you've shared so far. I really appreciate that. And at this time, if you are just joining us, it's going to be viewer Q&A time. So if you have any questions at all, go ahead and type it into the comment section, and we will ask them to Nicole. So here we go into the viewer questions. All right, the first question, Nicole, is going to be, with the CSU of Stockton being currently studied, is downtown one of the considered sites? I don't know if you can talk about this at all.
Yeah, that's a good question, and I have heard the rumors. I haven't been directly involved in that process, so I can't speak directly, but I have heard the rumors that there are a few sites in consideration, and my understanding was downtown Stockton was on that list, but I wouldn't be able to confirm that directly since I haven't been involved in that discussion. So that's a very good question that we probably need someone else to answer to verify and validate that.
Okay, so we'll wait for a future source for that answer.
Right.
Okay, so we have another question. Okay, this question asked, is the Stocked Full of Produce grant program being utilized?
Is that it?
It looks like there's a little bit more to the question. Oh, is the Stocked Full of Produce grant program being utilized as much as the commercial facade grant program?
Oh, yeah. So the quick answer is no. Stocked Full of Produce grant program I didn't mention in my presentation, so I probably should have. I apologize. That program is fairly new, roughly 2 years old. Facade program has been around for 15 plus. So that program isn't used as often, but there are some limitations on that, just like there are with the facade program. So as far as areas that qualify for that program, there are some limitations. So we are working at maybe expanding those areas and looking closely to food deserts as potential areas that we can use for those qualifying areas. So yeah, no, it hasn't been used as much, but in the past 2 years or so, we've done a couple of them, so it's good. I think we're still trying to get the word out, and the intent of the program, just in case anyone doesn't know, is those corner markets that, you know, are the small corner markets. The intent of the program is to have them carry fresh foods and produce options, so that it's basically fulfilling that food desert or healthy food needs that folks in the area, residents alike, need and want and don't have to go to a grocery store for.
Awesome. Okay, thank you for sharing. Yeah, I think that's a really cool, a neat program, and I do hope that some of the areas can be expanded for that, just so people can use it, use the money.
Yeah, and we have some capability to consider applications that may not be in the area as well. So if a corner market is interested in the program, I highly recommend that they reach out to our department so that we can determine if it's something that we can consider.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right, we have another question. This question says, is there a plan to recruit higher paying industries to Stockton that will increase the median income and reduce commuting to the Bay Area for these types of jobs?
Yeah, it's a good question, and always it's a plan to recruit higher paying jobs. So I think COVID put a halt on a lot of our abilities to do some attraction efforts, but we're still trying to move forward with that. We do currently look at certain things. Maybe we have tools and resources that look at some leases that are they're reaching their expiration date in the Bay Area, and we can reach out to those companies that perhaps may want to move locations and have a better paying rent here in Stockton versus the Bay Area, and that would in turn bring those higher paying wages. So yeah, it's something we constantly work on, constantly look at, and we definitely want here for the city of Stockton.
Okay. Is there any specific industry that you guys were looking into? Just curious. Yeah.
No specific industry. You can kind of tell with the recent construction of the industries that have been most populated with our industrial sized warehouses that have been going up. You guys have heard that, I'm sure. The Amazon businesses that have been going in. So those types of businesses have been the most prevalent as far as new construction and companies coming in.
Okay, thank you, and thanks for the question. Okay, so has the Advantage Stockton website always been there? So I guess this is kind of a question of maybe when it first came about. Someone's asking, or is it new because of COVID-19?
Yeah, so Advantage Stockton has been around longer than I have here at the city, so 7+ years. We do have a new COVID page for the Advantage Stockton, so that is new in terms of the site itself. But the site has been revamped recently, and so you'll probably, those that have seen the site around, it'll probably look a little newer, but the COVID page itself is a new addition to Advantage Stockton.
Okay. Yeah, I think Advantage Stockton is a great resource, especially if you're like just looking for demographic information and for buildings that are available. I think you have that on there too. It's interesting.
Right, yeah. So if people are looking for sites, they can search for sites based on their parameters. And if they're looking for certain demographics, we have all of those demographics within that site as well. So it's a very useful resource, especially for businesses that are looking to move into Stockton.
Awesome. Okay. So it looks like that's all the questions that we've got so far. So thank you, viewers, for asking the questions. And at this time, I would like to let everyone know that this video is going to be uploaded to our YouTube channel, which is at Downtown Stockton. And also, you are obviously already following us on Facebook if you are tuning in here. But we also have accounts at Instagram, so we are at Downtown Stockton, and Twitter at Downtown STKN. So go ahead and follow us if you don't already on those platforms. And I want to thank you, viewers, for tuning in today. And thank you so much, Nicole, for being our guest. You shared so much information, very exciting. I hope that viewers, you're able to get something useful out of it. I know that I definitely learned things myself. I'm excited about new programs. So yes, thank you so much, Nicole.
Yeah, you're welcome. And if viewers have follow-up questions, I imagine they can just go through you, Courtney. I know that you're privy to a lot of this information. You may be able to answer those questions, but if not, feel free to send them my way.
Sure, definitely. All right, and with that, thank you, viewers. Thank you, Nicole, and I hope that you all have a great day downtown. Thank you.
Thank you.